Hello and welcome to the East Lampeter Township Public Meeting. All participants are now informed that this meeting is being recorded. This meeting is also being offered virtually utilizing Zoom, which is a cloud-based platform for remote video and audio conferencing. The Zoom application is free to the public. The general public is therefore able to join the meeting by connection through the internet or by calling in by phone. The public is also able to observe the meeting on the Township's YouTube channel. Please continue to check the Township website calendar for any updates related to these public meetings. Agendas for these public meetings will also be available on the Township's website. Please be reminded that this meeting is being video and audio recorded and will be posted to the Township's YouTube channel for viewing. The meeting will now proceed with the chairman calling the meeting to order and identifying all other members present in the meeting room and those joining the meeting via Zoom. The chairman will then confirm those members joining by Zoom can be heard.
We have nobody? Okay. All right. I'd like to call the meeting to order. My name is Jim Everhart. I'm the chairperson of the Park Board. And we have Chris Cretin, Diane Tyson, Bruce Hess, and Frank Hollingsworth, members in attendance. Plus we have Charles Thomas, the Director of Public Works, and Kim Peastrack, Assistant Township Manager. Did I get that right?
You did.
Right. All right. Plus, as always, our AV expert, Stephanie Newsom. There you go. I promoted you a little bit.
Perfect.
Okay. You know.
See your picture.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you'll see it in your paycheck. Okay, all right, so, let's stand for the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and
To the republic for which it stands, one nation, indivisible, with liberty, justice for all.
So we have no members of the public here, so I got ahead of myself here. Has everyone read the minutes of the January 28th meeting? Do I have a motion to approve?
To approve.
Second? Okay. All right, all in favor? Okay, a motion approved. Okay, public concerns or comments? Once again, we have no one. Okay, all right. Reports, grounds, buildings and trails.
Update on the pavilion. Of course, the weather stopped, put everything to a halt. Hopefully within the next week or so, the sewer line's complete. Yeah, I don't have an update on delivery of the pavilion yet. To my knowledge, it has been ordered. We have material to run or the water line, just waiting for the weather to be. And also the basketball court, we received an email with a drawing
Oh, wow.
to zoning, and zoning officer contacted them and they need to hire an engineer to get stormwater.
Ah,
And the other thing I have to report on, of course, Westerners are still closed at the parks, but we did receive the liability insurance for CD baseball. So we do have that.
all right. Anything else? Okay. The recreation program director's report.
Currently, we have 143 program registrations from January 1st to February 24th, 111 residents. Currently, there's 811 accounts. Some of the in March are going to be coffee and conversation with a cop, discussion of home security. Some playground registration is open. We're actively looking for sponsors. So far, there's 24 registered. We have indoor yoga, line dancing. We have 2 classes of line dancing, full moon owl prowl, exploring the night sky, dinosaur pajama book note, sourdough bread basics, bus trip to Washington, D.C., and exploring the park egg hunt. Some future programs are the sourdough bread advanced workshop. Community garden registration is open now. The garden opens April 1st. We have a beginning fishing workshop, a babysitting course, Bird Walk with Lancaster County Bird Club. Movie nights in June, August, and October, and Discover the Magic of Lightning Bugs in June. We have a bus trip to Cape May in August. So currently, the park registrations are open and ongoing. And on another note was the CB baseball with the shed. He did reach out to Jacob Bowen, the planning director. He's gonna get an engineer because it has to go through land development.
Happening. Anything else? Boy, she's busy, that's, wow. Yeah. Okay, old business, do we have any old business? I think so.
Well, just out of what's the target date to have the pavilion done? It like that, is there?
Once I know the delivery date of it, so to say, when they ordered it, as long as they did order it, it was 8 weeks out. And they were doing that right around Christmas. You're looking at the end of March.
And it should be by Memorial Day, you're thinking, or no?
Hoping. It all depends on, we're working through PG&O with electric service to the pavilion already.
And weather, of course.
So we've got meters we've got to install, there's trenching we got to do. They needed to give us, they just gave us a work order so they could proceed with their design. So we didn't even see the design for the electric into the pavilion yet.
When would we like need to set a like rental rate for it, or are we looking at like capacity?
This is the same capacity as like the Alliance.
Okay, so it would just be the
I
same
think, yeah.
same rental rate as what, you know, because of capacity.
Not, well, what park is that at? And then it said, so keep it straight across the board.
Yeah.
But it's basically built the size of the Clark. Building. So I think they came up with a name. Can't remember.
What's the Clark's Family Pavilion?
The Clark Family Pavilion. The one at Ford. So they, this one, Clark Family Pavilion.
Been having a thought for the rec part of it. I'm not sure, but in the community park, you know, nothing is done in the wintertime there. But I also know people go there. And when there's, in front of me have snow, and I think children sled. So I thought it'd be maybe part of the rec thing is that it's a community service. And I don't want to just throw this out. To clear the snow at the community park and part of the parking lot. So that people can come with their cars.
The Board of Supervisors didn't want that done.
Yeah, we had discussed that.
Discuss it.
Put it on the board.
Needs to go in there, make one parking lot, make sure in front of the portable restrooms are here,
Yeah.
and then get out. Because we figured out a cost, it was hundreds of dollars to do all our parks. If we would solve and plow.
Okay.
Fuel, man hours. Say fuel, man hours and salt. We figured the pricing about 2 years ago and it was over $1,000.
Okay, I was just gonna throw that, I know people use it like they have a kids, that's a community part of the rec program, maybe.
I'm not as easy to go over that as you are, and I'll tell you why. I fell 3 weeks ago. I fell and I could hardly walk for a week. I'm talking about, I got out of my car, took 2 steps away from my car and fell, and I was right at the east side where the entrance to the park is. And it's funny, a couple of weeks before that, a woman had stopped me on the trail and said, why don't they plow this a little bit? Why don't they do something about this? I guess the only thing I would say is, and I understand, I was going to ask you if you have figured out what the costs are.
The cost was not to interrupt, the cost was figured out 2 years ago.
Okay.
That's up since then.
And I understand that. And I guess what I'm saying is, I would not ask you to do that with the resources you have available. I would think that I'm considering going to the supervisors myself. And I'd love to hear the feelings of the board. And asking if they can allocate some funds to do that in the future. Because number one, I felt, number two, I'm a year-round park person. You know that. I go there all the time. And I'll be honest with you, it's embarrassing as heck for me as a member of the Parks Board to have to go to Greenfield, where it's done with public funds, and there's the whole plow. I mean, they're, they do it with private funds. So, as I said, I'm not asking you to do it with what you got, because that's unfair. And so I just love to hear what the rest of the board feels about that.
Can I, since you have your budget and the rec part of it has their budget, instead of taking it out of your budget, maybe with all this money we're bringing in, not a lot probably, but
Recreation is close to.
No, we're an expense, not a profit center yet.
I'm just saying, looking at a budget, just getting a different budget. And, I'd like to see at least, but I have no kids, I have no fights or nothing to fight for, just that as a public service.
Yeah.
To clear a little bit of the parking lot out.
Yeah, if
In and out to the porta potty and just a little bit.
I mean, I was about 10 feet from the porta potty.
if you're gonna approach them, I would say you need to do it for one of the parks. And designate that, instead of trying to clear them all.
Yeah, no, I get that. I think that's right.
Instead of all the parks, just the one park, just not even the whole parking lot.
Including trails too, just the parking lot.
My suggestion was just the parking lot for the kids.
I do that at the top loop. That's my, and I said, I look over at Greenfield and the stuff is, and I said, one of the things about it is, I think Charlie, you and I brought this up, several years ago. And, let's face it, things have really changed since the pandemic. Number one, a lot more people are working at home. They're looking to get out. Number two, there's tons of research. You look on your Apple Watch right now, your Apple Health thing, they consider being outdoors to be an important part of health. It's part of your mental health. It's in there. There's been research that
There's a lot of research on being in
Right.
parks.
and guess what? That doesn't get canceled because it's winter. It's like,
I want to play devil's advocate and say, I think our resources can be better spent. Because you have access to Greenfield, the school district has trails all through the whole campus of the high school and middle school. So there are places you can go when it's wet and snowy, and is that the best use of our resources for maybe 20 people or 40 people? There are other options, so I would rather us use those resources for the time of year when it gets the most bang for our buck, which would be spring, summer, and fall.
And the recreation budget is just a revolving, it comes in and goes out. So in order to have all these programs.
Yeah, I mean, if there was no other place to do it, it might be worth a conversation, but there are.
I just feel embarrassed that we have to rely on a private entity to have people be able to use. And it's a public facility. I mean, guess what? Route 30 could PennDOT could put up a sign, no winter maintenance on Route 30 too. You know what I mean? It's like, I'm just
Even
saying.
compare.
Whatever you do, you need to communicate it. We're doing a really good job of communicating stuff in the newsletter. If the parks are closed, that ought to be in there, and if they're, just say they're closed, they're not maintained, go at your own risk. Here are some options, go to Greenfield, go to blah, blah, blah. At least give them some direction.
We're in the bulletin, just have a survey. Would people be interested in if we cleared it off, at least that one park, a little parking area for when the kids for snow, and then maybe the walking path. So that could be used, I know,
But
but
how else is the house? I'm trying to work my budget and you're spending it.
okay, just throwing it out.
We'll have to show up with shovels.
Yeah, I mean, the parks aren't actually closed. The board's supposed that, you know, parks are just don't, restaurants are closed and then there's no being food, so yeah, right. I mean, that's going to be on the trail out at Warren Street Extension once we accept that dedication.
You have the most open Flory Park too, then in the west side there, the parking lot, the people sled on that hill? I would assume they would. I don't know, I don't go over that way, but I'm assuming that hill probably sled.
Time to go look.
I don't go over that. You can basically go to my son's house, but I don't look over that way. No, I think, you know, it's a war, there's a notice that there's no winter maintenance. Now, since 1970.
Meetings a public meeting, you're more than welcome to attend and ask.
I'm sorry.
The board of supervisors meeting is a public meeting, you're more than welcome.
No, I get it. And said, I'm trying to figure out whether I want to do that or not, but I am thinking about it. So I wanted you to be aware of it before. I didn't want to surprise you or anything like that, or blindside you.
You're surprised every day. You're surprised.
Okay. Okay. So, yeah, anyway, so, if anybody else, cares to join me, if I decide to do that, let me know.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Anything else? Any other new business?
I just had a couple questions, you know, this is irrelevant at this point, but over there to. My mind just went blank down.
Gibbons.
Gibbons, yeah.
See, I'm not surprised.
My mind is going. We have a right of way to go into the other side of the bridge there, you know, sometime, right? They go in through there and stuff. To get back to the park. We worked out that building.
And that never went through.
Well, that never went through because those people are closing down the way it sounds like selling the property. I don't know if you heard that or not. They laid off almost everybody. They're thinking either closing it down or selling it.
Selling that property down there, I
They're
did.
thinking about it. One or the other. They laid off almost everybody. And they're deciding now if they're just going to use it for warehouse space or maybe just sell the whole thing.
Yeah, the only thing I know we were talking about staff was if you park over by the mill, then you gotta walk on 340 to get to the other side. So that's why in the design, they're hoping to put a bridge over Mill Creek so people aren't out the highway. If they redo that bridge down there, maybe ask for a sidewalk, or ask for a sidewalk. For safety to eventually connect everything, but yeah, we kind of went with the bridge idea instead of people walking out on that highway.
And then going around. I didn't know they were not, but I heard that they were possibly.
Possibly selling, yeah, I did not know that.
They laid almost everybody off. And there's people work there. They're gone.
It's not Valor, is it? What is it?
Yeah, Valor's.
No, Ames or something.
Ames.
But yeah,
James?
yeah, it's an international company. I think.
Yeah.
They're good. You know, that hardly anybody's working there anymore. They're thinking either closing or selling, or maybe using it as a warehouse or something. So
Okay.
I didn't know if we had that. One time we talked about possibly a right of way through there or something.
Okay. Sorry, anything else? Any other? Nothing else? No more, public comment? We don't have anybody, still don't have anybody? Okay, so. There's nothing else? Do we hear a motion to adjourn?
We make a motion to adjourn.
Second? Okay, all in favor?